All right. Welcome to take two of Studio 34. This time you can hear me. Last time was a pain in the ass, and I'm sorry about that. So let's kind of go over Studio 34. It's a very simple world, and it's got a lot of wonderful things I'd like to show you. But let's start off by saying Studio 34 is just got started, and it's right now it's a boilerplate. So I have an entire framework of system softwares that are built for this world, and I want to show them to you so you as the filmmaker totally understand how they work, and I think you'll really like them. First off, we have a chroma map key. So there's a world over here that is a green screen world. Now, granted, everybody's got the typical green screen world that you can go jump into that's pre-lit, except the cool part about this one is it incorporates a lot of movie cinematic stuff, such as I've got this drum light here, and the drum light can actually, depending on where it's pointed, can light up the area. So if I point the drum light, here, it can light the area. Now the drum light's a little bright, and that's kind of what the drum light does. We'll put the drum light out of the way, and we'll leave the drum light there. Over here, we can do some really awesome things, such as pulled from the Slack Labs idea. You actually can grab a green screen and put it down, and now you have a green screen behind you for particular elements. Now the same thing will be able to, you can grab walls for like an office complex or a building and build a set yourself with these walls, and you'll have furniture and props. And then what you're going to do is once you build your set the way you want it, you'll have a button on the wall that's called lockdown, and what lockdown will do is it will get rid of your accidental grabbing of things that you shouldn't be moving. So like if you want your set to stay put and you don't want actors to go, oh no, I accidentally grabbed it, we don't want that to happen. So that's what lockdown is all about. And lockdown happens over here on the control board. So right now I have, the good old-fashioned standard SDK interfaces, but over here I have created a bunch of lights, and I want to show you these. So these are globalized lights, and they're systematically set to where if I was to turn a light on, blink, I just turned the light on, but that's nothing. We now can take our global light and bring it where we want with us. So I have like the typical spooky underlight, or I could put it over my head, or I can have a light behind me. But either case, we have a real dynamic lighting system where you can put the light where you want it cinematically. So that's that. So we'll just take our light with us to the green screen, because everybody likes lights, right? So now that we're getting on the light, we're noticing that this light system, there we are, we just lit up the area nice and bright. So that's just a green screen light. That's all I have right now is standard chroma keying, but I'm going to have over there in the extremely dead space of nothingness, which is humongous, other sets and other props. I'll even have a full-blown like Friends-style open key studio where you can sit down and have sitcoms and build fun dramas for people. I'll have like a mafia's pit. I'll have a bank that you can rob. All those typical stages you would typically see in movie sets to get what you want. Now, that's not the best part about this world, not even remotely. Yes, I've got some, movable lights, and yeah, we've got some chroma keys, and that's cool and all, but that's not the cool part. The cool part is the cinematic camera. So I've taken a camera that someone else has initially created. They designed it so you can have a cinematic placement camera in the world, but I've took it to another step. And this is just the start. So let me explain and let me show you. Over here, you can tell there's a bunch of red squares that we're walking up on. So these squares are cameras. Now, that doesn't really help you, right? So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to start off by, let's anchor the camera right here. So I'm going to show you that these are red squares. Now, if you look here, you have this triangular item right here. Well, that's the active camera, and you can tell on the TV over there. If you look, this is the active camera. So I will take this wonderful doodad, and I'm going to come over here. This right here, this is a tablet. And the tablet allows you to move between cameras. So if I was to come over here and I was to select, here, let's get that camera over. So if I was to select main camera, or I would go to guest camera, you'll notice that the camera is moving around. Well, that's the start. Now, the fact that we have movable cameras is just the beginning. The next part is we have these squares over here where I can actually grab them and take them around. And this is a placement camera. This is no different than you would see the camera at the one hit. But this is an expansion on that camera. So here I have brick number 1. And here I have brick number 2. And here I have brick number 3, brick number 4, brick number 5, and last but not least, brick number 6. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, all right, great, we have all these bricks. Well, if I take the tablet system and I move back and forth, you can tell here on the camera that I have transitioning. So I can transition from camera to camera to camera to camera. Now, what I have right now is a big board and it's not lit right. So, excuse me. Oh, the live streaming capacity of sneezes, right? So I have this guy. And oh my gracious, late night. Let's just do this. All right. All right. So now I've got a bad example of a camera here. Oh my. My apologies, guys. I'm sorry. So, this camera overlay that I have is a little dark right now, and I'm sorry about that. That's because I have a mistake on this texture. But what you see here is me standing in front of the first camera. But if I get the trusty tablet over here, which you can't see now because you're actually looking through the live camera, so you can see my actual camera, which is always getting in the way. But what you can see is you can see me being able to select my different cameras, and if I choose like this camera or this camera, now this camera doesn't look at me, but if I adjust it just so, there we go. Now if we go back to air camera, that's there we go. It'll walk myself a little center, and then we go from that camera to that camera to this camera. Now that camera's not looking at me either, so let's adjust it a little bit. There we are. So now we have this camera that can transition all of my locations. So we'll just adjust this one a little bit. And as the cinematic creator, you can actually toggle back and forth between these cameras. And it's a smooth transition. It eases out every it's a 2-second ease. So if you want a quick easement, you just put 2 blocks together, and I'm going to have numbers on all these blocks so you'll understand their sequence. So like you'll understand the names by these cameras. But you actually can okay, let's put this one right over here so that way all the cameras are getting some kind of wonderful angle of me. There we are. Now you can have transitional angles of me. Oh, that one's not even remotely looking at me. Let's get a nice wide shot, shall we? There we go. All right. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. That's this system. So now you can create cinematic angles. Yeah, center up. And now you can create these awesome transitions between posts and locations. See that? Isn't that wonderful? Now, I'm going to allow you to kind of get the gist here because it's getting late and I'm getting a little tired. But you can actually take these cameras and move them around. Now, these cameras, this world is so stilly light right now, it's less than a meg in size, which is absolutely fantastic for what I'm trying to accomplish. But let me go get my camera here. So what I'm trying to accomplish here is pretty simple. So as you can clearly see, I have all these cameras and I have all these bricks and all this location and all this potential for Studio 34 because I want influencers to enjoy these tools. Now, I have tons of other tools in this world right now. So I have global lighting, and I think I've already explained lighting because I pulled a ball out for you and I showed it to you. There'll be other things such as spotlights and rendering lights and post processing and all that stuff that you would typically use in a camera world to make films, movies, and anything VR chat related. I want to give back to you guys the way that VRC asks us to do it. And I know that everyone makes local mods, and I know that we're on fire with the community verse VR chat developers. But since we kind of decided not to pick sides, I figured it'd be fun to create a world where you still have the capacity to use your avatars. Because I know so many of you, just like me, are invested in VR chat. And it's very hard to leave. And it's actually terrifying to leave because of all the time, effort, and energy we've invested into this platform. The majority of my friends haven't left. And we look at the other platforms and we go, yeah, maybe one day. But right now we're still hanging on. We'll see how it goes. With that being said, welcome to Studio 34, and I hope you really like the previews. This is actually a first insight as to seeing what I've gotten started so far. The camera system as it currently stands, it's going to get better. It's going to become more refined, and there's going to be movie sets and whatnot in this world. So that way you can bring your posse of friends in here and make a Days of Our Lives skit or something. I honestly, I don't know what you're going to do here, and I'm actually really excited to see. So that's that in a nutshell. And you guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you later.